This Malayalam film promised to be violent, and they delivered on that more than we even expected. But can extreme violence save a film? Let's talk about it. Hello guys, I'm Nona Prince, and while going to watch this film, Marco, the most violent Malayalam film, I got stuck in traffic, and that's why I got late by 5 minutes. And knowing what the film is, I expected that all the rage I have built in because of all that traffic, this film will satisfy all that. And that's what the pitch of the film has been, at least on the marketing, the violence they are going for. That's what all the footage was saying to us. Even their video got taken down because it was too violent. The censor board certificate was flying around on social media. The amount of cuts and changes that were asked. So the film was really being hyped up for being really violent. And after watching the film, it's not just violent, it's extreme. It's brutality. It's something that I never imagined I would see in an Indian film. Like someone would have not even thought about this. Like how was it even possible to do it in India with all the censorship rules, even for an adult film? There were literally warning cards throughout the film, and on a single scene there were two of them. That's how far this film goes. Now what the film gets right is that it's technically really solid. The film is set in Kerala. Are you sure? Because it doesn't look like that at all. It feels like we're in a Russian state. That's the way they have captured the film. The color grading. There's a slickness to the visual, the slow motion, the background music pumping it, the stylish and classy suits the characters are wearing, the Range Rovers they are driving. It feels like an international mob, a syndicate. It's like that Hollywood lever in our own backyard. And the way it all comes together on screen, it looks really impressive. Let's talk about the action, the set pieces, the way they are designed and constructed. You can see they have put the effort, the hard work, and the money into it. They've been really ambitious. There are so many long take fight sequences, hand-to-hand combat using different weapons. There's a long staircase fight sequence, very close to the action. The blood splashing everywhere. They're going for it. Some of the most brutal things I've ever seen. They've used the visual effects. They've used the sound to enhance it all. There were many standout moments and a lot of cheering going on in my theater where there were not many people for a 12:30 show on Friday. Now definitely a warning for people who are very sensitive to violence. Is not for you. And if you're someone who totally enjoys such violence, no judging here. You can really enjoy these moments in the film because they don't hold back at all. And credit where it's due, some of the things this film achieves with action, it's definitely noteworthy. But there's a big but. None of it really matters if there's no meaning behind the action. And that's where most of the film fails for me. There's a reason why the film Kill works. There are emotions behind the actions of a hero. And that's the reason we are backing him. We are rooting for him to commit those brutal actions. Now with Marco, it's very clear that all the work went in the execution of the violence, in how the film looks, but not at all in the writing. It felt like the film had just one goal: how to have more and more violence, how to create more shocking and brutal images on screen. And there's a fine line when violence really works, when it feels grounded and you care about the characters. But once you cross that, it's just gone. It just becomes insensitive because it's just too much blood. It just loses its value. There are just endless number of people dying, and at one point you just give up. You just don't care because if 10 more people die, what does it even matter? You must have heard this quote that action speaks louder than words, but it doesn't really apply on this film because there's just too much talking about what the character can do instead of really showing us what he can do. Just imagine John Wick. Instead of just going and killing everyone, he goes there and first talks about what all he can do to them, how dangerous he is. Instead of killing them through his actions, he's talking them to death. That's what this film feels like at a lot of times. And this is the thing where a lot of films trying to go mass misunderstand how to write massy scenes. Take KGF, take Pushpa, take the Telugu films. They hype up their hero. They build him up so well and then he delivers, and that gives you that massy feeling. It gives you that high. You need to follow that pattern or break that pattern which gives you a different high. But you cannot have a build up for your hero saying that he's dangerous, he can do this, he can do that, and he doesn't do anything. He doesn't live up to his own words. There needs to be a point where your characters walk in slow motion with that background music. It cannot be every time they walk somewhere or the other in slow motion you play that background music. Yes, they're looking stylish, it's looking great, but what's the point of it? It's nothing. You cut to the next scene. You're not really building up to anything. These moments need to be earned for us to really feel that high. The world this film builds has zero depth to it. All the characters are just one note. All of them just exist to be around Marco so they can either die for him or he kills all of them. There's no other purpose to them at all. They have no other job. They have nothing else to do in life. It's all about the main character. That's their world and they just revolve around him. There is one characteristic that every character in the film has, which is stupidity. The motivation, the logic behind the actions of these characters, it's not making any sense. The stakes for the hero are so mismatched. Why he's doing this, what he is doing, what's the point of it? It's just so confusing. And it really feels like they designed the action and now they just glued those action sequences with these random scenes to just introduce some drama in the film. And it just doesn't work. If you really just wanted to focus on the action, make it simple. At the start of the film, the hero has a reason, kill everyone, and let him just kill everyone throughout the film. Have one action set piece after the other. That's it. Let him go on a rampage. The addition of the family drama, the family pride, side, the love angle, it all feels so cliche. None of the emotions in the film works. There's one more cast member in the film, which is the cigar, and it literally has more scenes than the female characters in the film. Literally, there are multiple scenes of the characters, lighting up the cigar or the cigarette, and then just walking, and then we come to a scene, and then they do that again. Why? I've heard some criticism, KGF has that, he also smokes a lot in the film, but it never comes in the way of the film. There's that iconic scene where he, destroys a police station and then he lights up his cigarette. But that's it. I don't remember any other scene where everything stops in the film and it's all about, lighting a cigarette. Watching the whole film, at many moments it felt like, they got inspired from different films and it just took all of that and, put it all together in this film. And the violence by the end just becomes gimmicky. Just for the sake of it, you got an adult certificate, you can do anything now. And at one point it felt like you're showing off that, we could do it. We could pull it off, see what we did. We don't just see those moments in the film. By the end, we go back to them as flashbacks again and again. See, I really don't like, bashing a film like this. And I hope that's not how I'm coming across, because that's not my, motive. It's not my intention. But I had to point out all the flaws. There were just too many of them. And I couldn't find a better way to put them across. I do appreciate the effort they put in. I talked about the action sequences, how technically the film is solid. But story-wise, the character, none of it comes together. And it's not that because the film is too violent, I didn't like it. The violence is not the problem, but that violence needs to be justified with the story. And that's what I've talked about in this video. Why the film Kill works and it justifies the violence. What do you think? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I know that this film was a spin-off from another film. It's kind of a prequel and this character shows up in that film. I don't know how much connection was there, and it does end with a post-credit scene. I don't know if that's a connection or not, but I was not a fan of it. Thank you for watching and I will see you next time.